Okay. All right.
Radhiti, you're live. You can start.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and thank you for all for joining us. Today, we have a very special guest on our show. Mr. Adil Sheikh is here with us, and I am filling in for Dr. Saima. She had some preoccupied thing going on. So I'm taking her place and hope I'll do justice to her role. To welcome Mr. Adil Sheikh, his CV is really impressive, and I can see that he has got his education from Kashmir, and from Kashmir he went to Northwest Missouri State University to do his MBA, and then he has his education from Stanford University Graduate School of Business as well. And looking at his work experience, I'm seeing that he has worked in diverse institutions like banks, healthcare, and very good business houses as well. Presently, he is a senior product manager at Nike Analytics, at Portland, Oregon. So without taking your time, Mr. Adil, we welcome you. And it's like whoever is outside Kashmir, they have got a very interesting stories, how they have landed up where they are. So can you just relive your past and tell us about the schooling and a little bit background about your family as well?
Of course. Thank you for having me, first of all. And then you are doing an amazing job as JK scientists. Impressive work, and it's an honor to be here. On this call. I'll start with where I was born. I was born in Srinagar, and I mostly grew up on university campus because that is where my dad taught as a language professor. So I've spent a lot of time on university, Kashmir University campus. And then I also grew up in Srinagar, in downtown area of Srinagar. I did my schooling from Burnhall, and then I went to college in Srinagar, again downtown, Islamia College, which was under University of Kashmir. I could not somehow convince my family, because they all are in education field, that I would like to take a break after my undergrad work and then do an MBA. It didn't. I was not able to convince them. They were like, "No, you're never getting a master's degree after that." Yeah. Because the way MBA works outside of Kashmir is very different. So I did end up going to Northwest Missouri State, which is a state university, where I was eligible without work experience, and also ended up getting 100% scholarship. So it became easier, and I landed up a job in healthcare, which was great. But I will talk about that later on. But that is a little bit of background, I wanted to give you.
Okay, yeah, very impressive. Yeah, as you told us that it's very difficult to convince our parents that we will take a break in our education. That system, like in Kashmir, it's a system that you cannot take the break. While as in other countries, like students take break to realize that what they actually want to do, what are their interests. But our society is different, and we too are evolving, and inshallah, I think the future is bright, and we are coping up. Like, how did you transition from your MBA into data science. So that is really interesting also for the students to know that they have got the scope, switching from one area to the next, which is like quite different what you have studied before. So can you just shed light on this also?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not unusual to have MBA graduates working in data and data science, field, because at the end of the day, data and data analytics, business analytics, or even data science, they serve business. They actually serve business and business strategy, right? So there always is a need of team members who can translate this business strategy for engineers, data scientists, and others. So also, data science does not have, or analytics does not have its own strategy. It may have in terms of technology, but it takes the strategy of a company, which is a business strategy, and then implements it and helps drive it through data analytics. So not very unusual to have MBA graduates. People I work with, a lot of them are MBA graduates, but I do work with a lot of data engineers on my team. I have visualization developers who actually built, who are user experience experts. I work with a lot of analysts and also data scientists. So not very unusual to see, like I said, MBA graduates in this field.
Basically, like most of JK scientist members are from biological sciences, and this is very intriguing for us to see that we have got such good engineers working on our data, which we have generated in the labs. So going through this, like what is your typical day as a manager at the Nike? Like how do you start, and if there are any interesting things that are going on around, so you can share any experience with us as well.
Yeah, I would also like to touch upon like how I ended up in this field, like you asked before. So my first job was in healthcare, in the US. And I started working with a lot of data projects as an analyst, and my interest in the field actually grew, and I started pursuing it. After my MBA and after I started working, I actually went back to a community college to take classes to develop this skill set. I took SQL classes. I took database and database design classes, so that I could better understand and better serve on the teams that I was put on. So that was my first job, and where I actually got exposure to data exchange, because there is a lot of data exchange that happens in healthcare. I'm sure in your field as well, you look at data. I ended up taking up a first job in healthcare in insurance. So a lot of times healthcare companies, they buy products off the shelf. They don't develop a lot of technology, but they buy products off the shelf from these other companies. So there's a lot of data exchange that has to happen. So that is how I ended up there. And then I worked with some great and some finest engineers and mentors, and I always asked questions. I always wanted to learn from them. So I grew up. Sorry.
Anuj, can you please mute yourself?
Oh, okay. So I did my PMP, which is a project management professional exam. I wanted to go towards project management, but I decided not to. After I did my PMP, I decided, that my interest is more hands-on, being with the team, being in the weeds, working with the engineers. Then, so that is when I redirected my career towards product. So that is how I ended up being a product manager. And an analytics or data product management manager is not very different than any other tech product manager. Usually you transition from an analyst or any other role into this role. So at Nike, a product manager role is more of creating a roadmap, which can be a quarter or a year or 2 years, as in what the team will work on. What is the strategy and how do you bring it in and decide on what your team will work on. I lead a team of engineers, although I'm not an engineer myself, but I lead a team of data engineers, analysts, visualization developers, and work closely with the business. Bring in that strategy, bring in those requirements that are needed, and have, divide that work up in small packages and have my team work on it. Sometimes the strategy changes. I'm in retail business. Nike sells shoes and apparel. So the strategy changes very often. So you have to be very aware. You have to have an outlook. You have to be very aware and very plugged in with the business to understand what is the next thing that my team will work on, so that we can unlock some of the capabilities for a business and help them decide where they should take, the business or change the business. So mostly we create data solutions to optimize the business, or give business the pulse of what is happening, the performance of the business. I worked on different projects or products. I've also worked on the Nike app, the mobile app, different features. How do you see what is selling? How do you see, how do you understand how customers interact with the product or the features, performance management, point of sale data, which is global. Nike not only sells products direct to customers, but they also are wholesalers. Different other companies sell their products. So that all ends up with our, at the headquarters, and we create demand supply management KPIs or indicators.
Okay. Very impressive and very interesting role, and it's a new breath of fresh air that we are having you on our show. So yeah, getting back to the students' needs, why they are watching this session of outreach. So if we go into their shoes, so let's say what education and professional qualifications are required for the kind of job you are in, like in the entry level. That would be in the minds of the students right now. So what qualifications first? Let's go to education. What qualifications should a particular student have for this thing?
Yeah, see, I have, data science and analytics is a very new field. I work with a lot of data scientists, who, I work with a lot of data scientists who have PhDs, but they don't have PhDs in analytics field. They have PhDs in physics. Some of them have, PhDs in biology or something else. And they have, most of them have experience, have expertise through experience, and developing their skills in the field. So you asked about entry level. I think it depends on the role. A data scientist, because it's a new field, some of them have transitioned from an engineering role. They were data engineers who have transitioned to data science.
Sorry to just interrupt you. Let's first say that what is data analytics and what is data science? Like, are they one or are they diverge and they converge somewhere? So let's, I think since this is a very hot and new field, so students may know basically what is it. So it doesn't need a computer science degree, I need to say. It's not necessary, is it?
It's not necessary. Let me define what analytics is and what
Yes.
data science is.
Yeah.
So analytics basically is, how do you take data? How do you take, and then we're talking about quality data, not just data, right? And 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 kind of help give an insight into the health of the business. So that is analytics. Data science is more of an applied analytics where you create, it's more predictive. You create models out of this same data and say, this is where, we think that the business is going to land in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, or the future. Or if we do, if we change it this way, this is where we're going to end. Or sometimes where you have lack of data, you create data models to fill those gaps, looking at some of the historic data, predictive modeling and whatnot. So these are the differences. So basically, analytics is focused on the past, looking at your health in the past, and data science is more future looking, telling you where you're going to land. So these are the two differences.
And it's quite different from software engineering development, is it?
It is different, but what I have seen is software engineering always is coupled now with data, because it becomes an important part. Like the Nike app I worked on, it's a software, it's a mobile app, but it does generate, data. So it's always now coupled.
Okay. Just to give my insight into this, so I work at the Cleveland Clinic, and they have partnered with IBM. It's, I think, $500 million project. So they will take all the data, whatever the hospital has the data, and come up with some unique identifiers for diseases. So does it come into analytics?
I might need to understand better what they're trying to do, but it sounds like it is both, right? Analytics is also data and analytics is a field where you make that data usable. Yes. I have some of the stakeholders who are data scientists as well. I work very closely with them because they rely on the quality of data. Because it's very dangerous to build a predictive model based on data that is not clean. Because the business may decide, and go in a very wrong direction based on data which is not clean. So it's coupled. So sounds like what you are doing at Cleveland, in Cleveland, in your institute, sounds like you're providing data, and there are different models that are built on top. IBM is building on top, and then providing outputs so that you can go in a specific direction.
Okay, yeah. So now going back to the Valley. So what is the scope of this field for the new generation who are coming up with different degrees? So do they seem to fit into this scenario?
I think data has become, or at least interacting with data has become a very crucial skill set everywhere. Even in HR, which is dealing with hiring people, maintaining relationships with employees, there are data analysts who sit within the HR departments. There are even HR specialists sometimes need to know at least basic SQL to interact with the data. So I think it's crucial to at least, no matter what field you're in, to be able to understand, interpret data. Because that is where we are moving towards. And also, I think not only big companies but smaller companies, have to be smarter because their competitor is not another company, across the street, or even a small business is not across the street, but it's bigger companies like Amazon, eBay, who are very smart and use data analytics. So I think it's a crucial skill set that everybody should pick up, or at least know how to interact with data.
And like the career paths are there, like different career paths, which every student, whoever has interest. So it's not just one path, but it has different components attached to it, which makes it a big team. Do you agree that like for our people, for our students back home, what do you suggest? Like, how should they approach their education or the skill sets, whatever they want to achieve? So, what do you suggest them, given the scenario of the education system and value? Since you are from there, so we can better understand what system we are in, and how can they improve their skill set, or how can they improve their capabilities so that they can enter into this industry.
Yeah, one one main difference that I saw between the education system in Kashmir and in the US is, in the US there is a culture, or education culture, of working every day and learning every day, which is very different than in Kashmir. I'll talk about myself, not anybody else, but we're more focused on is preparing for an exam, preparing for that specific exam towards the end, and passing that exam. But here in the US, and I have also seen in Kashmir, for example, the curriculum doesn't change very often. But here in the US, it generally changes with the change in the market, so that it's relevant. So I think if the education system is not aligned with some of the needs in the market, what students could potentially do is enable themselves through different platforms and keep learning and building their skill set, being aware and accordingly building their skill set. So I think that is the main difference, and that is what I would suggest, I would recommend students do.
And if we like in Kashmir, there are not many companies who can hire them. But what about like India, or for that matter, if they are working remotely from US, they can be hired. So I mean to say, what type of companies will hire these students?
I think I work with a lot of companies and a lot of team members who are sometimes offshore as well. And because there is always a lack of experts in the field. So there are many times companies have to collaborate or bring on companies that are offshore, for example, Infosys, or Cognizant, or even EY, that have big offices in different countries. And then I've also seen a lot of companies actually open offshore offices so that they could tap into some of the talent offshore or in different countries where they have a lot of skill set around technology. So I think these are kind of the the approaches that different companies take to hire people. But for folks to get hired in the US, it's hard for them to bring talent from outside rather than hiring people here who have done their education there or already here through a job or a company.
Oh, but the job market is good, isn't it? Because it's upcoming area, and the data is so much that they will need people who have maybe some basic knowledge about data. So what do you suggest? Again, I'm emphasizing on the people, on the students of Valley. So do you suggest that they should move out at least to India, or like to have more skill development rather than being home and just going for the general studies?
I think the skill set could be developed anywhere. You don't have to move out. And then there are jobs. If you have the skill set, the jobs do come to you. Things have changed after COVID. Most of my engineers on my team are remote. They work from different places. During COVID, I actually worked 8 months from Turkey. Because I love the place. I love the country. So things have changed a lot, and jobs sometimes come to you rather than you going to the jobs or you moving out. That is what I would say about you can leverage these platforms that are available sometimes even for free from anywhere. You don't have to move out.
So, like a few examples of the free stuff they will be getting online to enhance their skill set. So, do you have any suggestions?
A lot of universities, Coursera is one of the platforms that I have used in the past. There are multiple others. Don't remember them on the top of my head, but there are multiple others. Even YouTube sometimes, you can keep watching videos, practice. There are universities that have free platforms. I know Harvard University or even Stanford has some free courses sometimes that you can leverage. Yeah, those are some of the examples.
Yeah, because like our main aim is, our main goal of these outreach sessions is that whatever information we have, we just decipher it to our students. That is the main goal. So if we have like any links or anything, so we just post them on our page so that they can be useful for our students. That's why I was asking about this.
Yeah.
But Coursera and Harvard and Stanford, I have
also it's yeah.
Well, I think what the things that I have seen on ground is lacking, that they don't study something which is out of their syllabus, So we need to have them learn some skills which are outside of their scope. Just get out of that box. Don't be in just one particular thing that you are going for engineering doctorate or for the job, but to learn, to gain knowledge. So that's why I think we should tell them about some free stuff which is available online, so that they can it's very interesting also to learn something new and just get interested into all these skills.
Yeah, just to add to that, it's sometimes you develop some of these skill sets on the job itself. You have a specific job in a different field, but you are curious about data. So you take up a side project where you apply some of the learnings you're doing on your own, to this, to this side project you pick up.
Yeah,
So
but this thing, like, I'm sorry to disturb you, because the audience right now is students, so they are not into job right now. So that's why, like, I'm asking you for these resources
Gotcha.
just
Okay.
to be benefit for them. You know, why I was asking about the entry level, because we know that they have just graduated or they are graduating and something is in their head that what next. So that question is, I think 99% of the students in the valley, what next is the big question for them, because we don't have much employment there and our education system is not that good. So that's why I was asking that
Okay,
we
I get
need
it.
to
Okay.
inculcate into them some more interest into other things other than their studies. So you have given some like examples that there are free courses, and it's not that they don't have time. You know, they have time and they can go there. So if it's of interest to them, I think they should go into there. And what are the challenges basically in analytical and data science?
Yeah, the challenges, um, I'll talk about smaller companies and bigger companies.
Mhm.
In a company like Nike, where I work, challenges always are, um, data alignment, because there is sometimes too much data which can be a problem. There are, sometimes the challenges I face is that how do you leverage, too much data? How do you make it performant? How do you align all across? Because Nike is so big, for example, how do you ensure that everybody is talking the same language or looking at the same data? So that can be a challenge in a bigger company. And then also another challenge is having quality data. Because a lot of decisions, as they are built on this data, you have to ensure that the data is of quality. Smaller companies, I would say, some of the challenges are, even getting getting some of the team members agree to work for them, because they have limited resources. They're not up and running on some of the technologies that bigger companies can work on, because they have resources, they have money, they have, they can invest. Some of these smaller companies lack that. And then also, sometimes, that kind of puts them in the back seat sometimes. So these are some of the challenges that we face day to day. And also there is a lot of turnover of, uh, you know in general, because there is always something more attractive, a new technology to work on. Things are changing, things are challenging, and like, for example, engineers, they would like to work on more challenging things, new technology. So there is also a lot of turnover in the industry overall.
Yeah, thank you so much. These were some of my questions, which I think that were uh, like relevant to you. So I will give chances to the audience, and they can ask their questions. So please raise your hand and you can ask the questions.
Yeah, somebody asked, and I see a reply as well, from Sajid. What is the roadmap for a fresher graduate, and how can a fresher take up data analytics as a profession? Um, I think I think you got an answer, but yeah, I think, yeah, I think that skill set, developing that skill set to start with, understanding of basic database design, and which can probably land you in a job where you could then build on it. Python, R, yeah, those are some languages that are very high in demand.
Sajjad, you can ask question here. Please unmute yourself and ask. This is Sajjad or Sajed?
Yes, Sajad. So you can ask question directly. or you can type.
Okay, type. And anybody has question? Please unmute yourself if anybody is asking question.
Another question is, how much can a data analyst earn in US or maybe in other countries? What's the average? So this was one of the questions asked by a participant.
Average what? Sorry.
Average
Salary.
how much can a data analyst earn?
Oh, okay. You can Google search those things and find yourself.
Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, sir. So, as ma'am also mentioned that does this thing have scope in Kashmir? Do you think, sir, that on your own level you will be able to open your own company with the experience that you have gained in US at a place like Kashmir, and then like train more people, more students here? Do you think it's possible here with all the skills that you have?
I think people have done that. I know there are folks who took who have development projects running from Kashmir. They have companies here and they have clients in the US, and there are product development teams sitting in Kashmir, in Srinagar. So that has been done in the past. So I think it all depends on what somebody's interests and priorities are. So people have done that in the past for sure.
So they are asking about you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm still learning. I have been in the field for about 10 years, but you don't need one person. You need a team. And if you find that right team in any place, you can probably create something unique and innovative. So I think if you find the right people, right idea, it could be developed from anywhere and implemented anywhere as well.
Sir, I wanted to ask one more. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you have any connections with the, like, as you said about data analytics? Are there any people out there who work for in the field of search engine optimization? So,
What optimization, sorry?
do you have any connections with the people working in the SEO field, like data analytics in SEO, search engine optimization?
So I don't directly work with such teams, but because I'm in an environment which is very big, there are experts sitting in each area, but it's sometimes I don't work closely with them, but it might sometimes be a related field as well.
We have
There's a-
another question.
Question,
Can we earn through freelancing after learning data analytics or data science?
I think yes. There again are platforms that have sometimes freelancers, who like engineers or visualization developers or even web developers, who take up projects for smaller independent companies sometimes. So I think if you have the right skill set, you could take up independent projects, or maybe you form a team of different people who have different diverse skill sets and take up a project online, or take up a freelance project as well.
Mr. Ahsan Ahmad, you can unmute yourself and ask question.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Sir, actually, I have a question. I'm in the final year of my BSc in Statistics and Economics at Aligarh Muslim University. And there is an option I can do MSc in Data Science. They have launched a new program 2-3 years back. And the thing is, actually, my brother is working in a company, in a cloud company. And he's saying that you can do the internship as well if you apply for the internship for a data science job, because you are in the field of data science in the final year. But the thing happened, actually, I was giving the class. I was uh, for 2 years, actually, I was studying from home because of the COVID. I got admission in 2020, and in the year of 2022, I went to the university and started my classes. Actually, I have only 1 year in my university. The issue is right now, there are actually some companies, I would say, are Scalar, if you know about that. They have a boot camp like program. We have to pay the uh, fee in the EMIs. So they'll give us a job guarantee program in data science. Is that, I mean, is that a good thing if we can do that? But they're asking for a huge amount.
I don't think I can speak to it because I've never used the platform personally. So Ehsan, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that question. I think because you are doing statistics, right? You're undergrad. You already have a very strong base, for pursuing a field like data science. I'm not sure if something like a language like R, SQL is something that you have learned in your undergrad, but you could potentially take that up on the side, or also take it up in your master's degree. And I would say, I would rather pursue a master's in data science than paying a, like you said, huge amount. If I personally have to choose, I would go do a solid degree in data science, do internships at the same time as well, so that once I graduate with my master's degree, I already have some experience in the field as well. So that is what I would do.
Thank you, sir.
There is
Thank you.
one question by Sajjad. So he's saying about the roadmap for an intermediate AI student to outperform in data science. I have some knowledge in AI and computer vision. My background is science. So what is the roadmap for him? What do you suggest?
Zahida, your voice was breaking. Where's this?
There is a question. There is the question in the chat.
Yes. So the question is, what should be the roadmap for an intermediate AI artificial intelligence student to outperform in data science? So he has sound knowledge in AI, ML, DL, and computer vision, because his background is from his computer science.
So you want to have, you want to develop a skill set in AI and MI. Is that what you're ML?
So he already has an AI skill, like he's an kind of intermediate AI student. So, but he wants to, outperform in data science. What should be the roadmap for an intermediate AI student to excel in data science? That's what his question is, I guess.
I think we all have to create our own roadmaps. So you probably could explore how to land up a job, and if you already have an AI background or skill set, you could probably take up a job and grow in that field. take up more projects that are AI and ML related. That is what I would do. But it all depends on how you want to, grow your career and where do you want to take it.
Anuj, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Go ahead, Anand.
you and good morning to all. Yeah, it's so informative to hear all these kind of stuff about this data science and all that. But so actually, as a biology, I have done masters in life sciences. So I just want to know that what are the opportunities for me as a biology student, because I don't have any background in this language and all. But as a life science student, I have to deal with the huge genomic data and proteomics data, and so I just want to know that is there any courses that I can opt for so that I can get knowledge about this data science?
Yeah, Anuj, like I was earlier saying, every field now in some shape or form, you do deal with data, right? And that is true for life sciences as well. I would say you could learn skill set because you already, are dealing with data. You could pick up a skill set on the side and directly apply it to your projects or job. So, for example, you could start with basic understanding of data, database design, and SQL, or also sometimes pick up, R. You could start with database design and take it further. But I would say, apply it. Nothing like applying, the data skill set that you're developing directly to your projects that you're working on.
Okay, so thanks. And is there any online courses that are available so that I can go for that?
I think Coursera has a lot of courses. You can start with database and database design. I don't specifically know which ones, but I'm more than happy to pass on the information to JK scientists. Take a look, look for you if you're interested, and then they could probably share it with you.
Okay, thank you. Looking forward to contact you.
Thank you.
So, Adil, I had a question, probably because most of the youth is on social media. They are connected, I don't know whether they are judicially using it to connect to, professionals. So I was wondering, what should be, how should people or how should students use, social media and which sites to get connected to professionals or to learn about internships?
I think a very strong platform which is professional is LinkedIn. You could connect with, follow, not just connect, but also follow these professionals, look at their content, look at some of the suggestions that they make, follow companies that, you are interested in, that are, say, for example, that are doing a lot of work around MI or analytics, and at the same time see what positions they are posting, right? What are some of the positions that they're posting around, say as a data analyst, and see what the delta is. See what are the skill set, what are some of the gaps that I have in seeing myself in that role or getting that job. So it's always about the checklist, right? Sometimes. So you have, say, for example, you have SQL, but you don't have R, and that job is your dream job, and you want to land into that job. So you develop your skill set, in R, and when you're ready, apply to the job. And it, sometimes what happens is we think that we are not good enough for a job, but you can always apply. You can always apply and see what happens. You don't have to have 100%, things that are asked in a job description. Not always need to have 100%. You could try with even 60 or 80% sometimes and see what happens. Talk to recruiters, send them messages, follow, like I said, follow some of the great leaders that we have in the field. And I would also say one thing that really is helpful: have mentors. I think there is an amazing team here in JK Scientist who can help guide and mentor some of the students. So be connected, see if they can connect you with some other mentors in the field. So those are some of the things I would say one can do.
Thanks a lot, for touching the mentor. And that was my next question, how important are the mentors in, any field? I think you excellently asked that question, answered that question.
Any more questions?
We don't have any questions.
Okay, so thank you so much, Adil, for giving us this very informative session. But at the end, what message through this JK Scientist Outreach platform, what message will you give to the students back home and to the future generation of Kashmir?
Yeah, not a message, but maybe I can pass on a couple of lines that I got from my mentor and my teacher very early in my life in high school. And maybe we can all reflect on it as we end this call. So the lines go like this: Tere darya mein tufan kyun nahi hai, khudi teri musalman kyun nahi hai, ab bas hai shikwaye taqdeer yazdan, tu khud taqdeer yazdan kyun nahi hai.
Very beautifully said. And maybe we will have more sessions with you in future, inshallah. And we will be connecting you with our mentees for a program or two. So I think we need to give back to our society and do our part, whatever little we can do, but we have to do our part. And this was just one baby step towards that. Since I told you that we are biological sciences, most of the team is biological sciences, and we had a lacuna or a vacuum, and you have, I think, filled a little bit gap in there. And we wish you all the best for your future endeavors, and we want you to be part of JK Scientist.
Yeah, happy to be part of you. You're awesome.
Thank you so much for your time. And Asif, thank you for moderating this session. And we wish everyone good luck and just study hard and be focused, and you'll get to where you want to be. Okay, thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.